My name's Juliana Sech. I'm a practicing interdisciplinary artist here in Victoria, BC. So I never really practiced growing up, and I didn't really have an artistic community around me. And then when I was in high school, I had a spare block and I would go to my friend's art class just to hang out with her. And me and the teacher got really close. And she's like, if you're gonna be here all the time, you might as well like make some work and like get some credits. And yeah, I was, 17 years old and hadn't ever made art. And I was like, okay. And yeah, that's when things really opened for me creatively, learning and practicing with painting and drawing. What I felt I could offer to this world is my perception through visual art. And I think that's the first time I felt purpose. That's kind of how I introduced myself to art. And since that point on, I've dedicated myself to the creative process. It kind of started with finger painting, and then I would draw these kind of conceptual, strange, nude bodies. I've always enjoyed like the very raw expressions of humans and emotion. Since I was 17, there was a lot of explorations in different creative processes, such as writing, and I went traveling a lot, and I had a journal where I would write down different experiences and collect different like receipts and abandoned things that I would find on the street. I was in Ukraine in my grandmother's bed, and I felt very confused about my future. And I realized, okay, I think I want to go to school and dedicate myself to learning more about the human brain and experience and perception, and also visual art, and like deepening that, the history of art and these practices. I applied to the university here at UVic, and I got in, which was really lovely. And that was where I wanted to really explore new mediums and understand contemporary art from a general lens, so that I could find my own expression through it. So I think a lot of university was understanding my style, what I'm drawn to materially, subject wise, and what my process is. I specifically focused on painting, photography, and video art. Quite intensive. It was 9 hours a week, and you had your own studio space, and it was the final crit, which had a lot of expectation and pressure. And at the time, all the creative ideas I had were sculptures that I kind of saw in my brain, even though I had no experience with sculpture. And my teacher was quite upset at the idea of me wanting to explore sculpture at the end of my whole degree. I find that my work is very conceptual based, and for me it's not about a specific material or medium, it's about which medium will express that concept the best and the most clearly. Yeah, I do use a lot of abandoned objects, transparent objects. I really love mirror. That's a common motif I have in my work, as well as dead flowers. I also am really interested in industrial materials, and also in contrast, very soft materials and fabrics and words. and kind of bringing those two together, because we do live in such an industrial, harsh world. And I think finding the softness and beauty and passion, which is of life and of soul and of expression, is so fulfilling to me. I have a lot of interest in using industrial materials, such as chains and metals and bricks. I think emotionally there's a lot of power in chains and feeling restricted, and I think there's a lot conceptually that can be explored. Even using mirrors as well. It is such a common material that we are surrounded with. The ideas of, self-reflection and, breaking those mirrors and reconstructing it can all have different conceptual themes to it. I find a lot of fascination with bricks and chains and mirrors and harsh and sharp objects. I am really interested in exploring different themes and subjects that are honest to my experiences being a queer neurodivergent individual. At the moment, I'm doing a documentation research project called Anthesis, and I am going to be sharing it at Habit Coffee mid-May and June, and it will be part of the Queer Artists Festival with the Victoria Arts Council. This project incorporates internal and external research on experiences, emotion, and physical surroundings. So I'm scanning different environmental surfaces. We're being influenced by all these factors continuously, and I really want to represent that visually. When people are looking at my work, I think I just want them to feel genuinely what comes up for them. And, that can be so many different emotions. You might not like the work, you might really connect with the work. Honestly, as an artist, it's very surprising to know the people that do end up connecting with your works and people that don't. It's very unpredictable. My work is very much of honoring different emotional states that are kind of pushed aside or not wanted to give space to. I find a lot of empowerment, and I think that's also why I like to use a lot of abandoned objects, is because these are objects that are, typically forgotten about, and people try to leave them behind and move forward. It's important to have these aspects that challenge us, but then also make us feel emotionally connected and bring us back to our own body and, even questioning, why is something challenging me? I think in my work, it is very much coming back to emotion and finding connection and love and relation through art, and, bringing up different subjects of mental health and identity. And art is very much an empowerment of emotions and of experiences. And as humans in this world, I think it's important to find other ways that we are connecting and understanding our world through non-verbal forms. I think feel what comes up for you, and if nothing comes up for you, that is so valid.